Her friends told her she deserved better than me, and she believed them. What happened next? You're not ready for it. From gaslighting game nights to her walking out without a word. This isn't just a breakup story. It's what happens when the people closest to you slowly turn your marriage into ashes, and you're the last one to realize it's already burned. You ever feel like your own home turns into a place you don't even recognize? That's been my reality for the past 8 months. My name's Josh. I'm 34, been married for 5 years, and I thought we had a good thing going, stable, simple, no major drama. Until her friends decided I wasn't good enough. It started small. At first, it was harmless stuff, comments I could brush off. Things like, "You really let her handle all the planning." When we were picking out furniture, or, if I had a husband, I wouldn't be the one always cleaning. We'd host dinner sometimes, and her 2 closest friends, Alyssa and Jen, would come by with these smiles that didn't quite reach their eyes. It's like everything I did or said was a punchline they didn't say out loud but made sure I felt anyway. At first, I figured maybe I was being paranoid. I mean, I'm not flashy. I work a regular job at a logistics company. I don't have a six-pack or drive anything fancier than a 2012 Honda, but I'm loyal. I love my wife. I make her coffee every morning, take care of the yard work without being asked, rub her shoulders after she's been on her feet all day. It's not glamorous, but it's love. At least I thought it was. Then came the subtle shifts. She started talking more like them. We'd argue over things we never used to argue about: money, my job, how much ambition I had. She started saying things like, "I just think I settled too soon," or "Maybe I need someone who pushes me more." Pushes her? I've supported every one of her goals since we met. When she wanted to switch careers, I covered the bills while she went back to school. I didn't complain once. I was proud of her. I even remember working doubles just so we wouldn't fall behind. But now, suddenly, I wasn't driven enough? That cut deeper than I let on. The real turning point came during a game night we hosted. Just 4 of us, me, my wife, Alyssa, and Jen. It was supposed to be fun. I made nachos, set up the games, tried to keep things light. But every little thing I said was met with some side glance between them, like they had this private language for how pathetic they thought I was. At one point, I joked about how bad I was at drawing during Pictionary, and Alyssa said, "Well, at least you're self-aware." That's step 1. And Jen just laughed like it was the funniest thing she'd ever heard. My wife didn't say anything, didn't defend me, didn't change the subject, just laughed right along with them. That night, I cleaned up alone while she stayed on the couch texting. I peeked over once, and it was Alyssa sending her a meme about men who peak in high school. I didn't say anything. I just felt hollow. I went to bed early, and she never came to join me. From there, things spiraled. She started staying out later, started spending weekends with her friends more often than not. And when she was home, it was like I was a background character in her life. She used to tell me everything. Now, I was lucky to get a fine when I asked how her day was. One night, I asked her point blank, "Do you still want to be in this with me?" She looked at me like I'd asked if the sky was blue. "I don't know," she said. "I just feel like I'm growing, and you're staying the same." I didn't know what to say. I stood there, stunned, while she just turned back to scrolling through her phone like we hadn't just hit a wall. After that, Alyssa started coming over more, like, way more. Jen too. They'd show up uninvited, plop down on the couch, talk about guys they knew who were really doing something with their lives. One time, Alyssa was drunk and said, "I don't get why you're still here. You could do so much better than this." Right in front of me. My wife didn't blink, didn't say a word. And it's not like I'm perfect. I've got flaws. I don't always remember to take the trash out. I get tired after work and zone out on the couch. But I never cheated. I never lied. I never made her feel like she was anything less than incredible. Now, I don't even know who she sees when she looks at me. The worst part? I started doubting myself. Started wondering if maybe I really was dragging her down. I even looked into second jobs, night classes, anything to prove I could be more. But then I'd remember she used to love this version of me. She said I made her feel safe, grounded. So why wasn't that enough anymore? One night, I overheard them in the kitchen. Alyssa was saying, "You need someone who makes you feel alive, not someone who just shows up." That broke me, because I do show up every damn day. And apparently, that's not what matters anymore. After that night, something inside me just broke a little. I stopped trying so hard to impress her. I still loved her, God, I did. But I started realizing I was fighting for a version of us that only I seemed to care about. She started coming home later and later. At first, it was always girls' night. Then it turned into vague work stuff, even though she never talked about work before. She'd come home wearing more makeup than she used to, her perfume hitting me before the front door even closed. Sometimes she'd go straight to the shower without saying a word. Other times she'd just fall asleep on the couch, phone clutched in her hand like it was her lifeline. I wish I could say I confronted her right away, but I didn't. I was scared of the answer. So instead, I started watching, listening, waiting. One Saturday morning, I woke up early, earlier than usual. She was already out of bed, downstairs, whispering into her phone. When I walked into the kitchen, she jumped like I'd slapped her. I asked who she was talking to, and she just snapped, "No one," then brushed past me like I didn't exist. That afternoon, I finally did something I'm not proud of. I checked her phone while she was in the shower. I hate that I did it. I'd never snooped before in my life, but something told me if I didn't, I'd keep pretending everything was fine until it was way too late. What I saw hit me like a freight train. Texts from Alyssa. Dozens. Screenshots of posts from some guy she works with, let's call him Brandon. Alyssa was full on cheerleading the idea of them together. He's hot. He'd treat you like a queen. You deserve passion, not just comfort. Then I saw one from my wife to Alyssa. I can't stop thinking about him. It's like he sees me. Like, really sees me. My chest actually hurt. Like, physically. I didn't see anything that proved anything had happened between them, but it didn't matter. Emotionally, she was already gone. And her friends? They weren't just bystanders. They were pouring gas on the fire. That night, I told her we needed to talk. She rolled her eyes, said, "If this is about me spending time with my friends again." "It's not." I cut her off. "It's about us. Are we even in this together anymore? Because I don't feel like you want to be here." She stared at me like she was weighing whether it was worth being honest. Then she said, "I don't know, Josh. I feel like I've outgrown us." Outgrown us. Like our marriage was a pair of old jeans she couldn't wait to toss out. I sat on the edge of the bed, silent. I wanted to scream. Wanted to ask her how she could throw us away so easily. But all I could say was, "So what now?" She shrugged. "I don't know. I need space. Maybe we should take a break." A break. Like we were some high school couple who got bored over summer vacation. I slept on the couch that night. The next morning, I woke up and she was already gone. The following weeks were a blur. She moved in with Alyssa just for a while, and I stayed in the house trying to piece my life back together. Our home felt hollow. Her laughter, her stuff, even her scent on the pillow, all gone, replaced by this echo of what used to be. She'd still text occasionally, usually about bills or mail or something mundane. Never anything about us. Never a "how are you?" Then about a month into the break, she texted me, asking if I'd be okay meeting up. She said she needed to talk. I agreed, even though I knew what was coming. We met at this little coffee place we used to go to on Sundays. She showed up in sunglasses and a tight smile, sat across from me like I was a client, not her husband. "I think we should file," she said. No hesitation. "It's just, this isn't working anymore." I asked her if there was someone else. She hesitated for half a second, then shook her head. "No, not really. Not really is still not no." She said something about wanting to find herself, wanting to be free to grow. Said she hoped we could be civil, that she still had love for me, just not that kind. I nodded. I didn't cry. I didn't yell. I just nodded. I don't even remember driving home that day. Just sat in the car when I got there, staring at the steering wheel like it was the only thing holding me together. And now? Now I'm in this weird limbo. Half my stuff is in boxes. The house is quiet. Too quiet. And every time I see Alyssa's name pop up on mutual friends' social media, I feel like throwing my phone across the room. I'm trying. I really am. Therapy, journaling, even signed up for a rec soccer league just to feel like a person again. But it's hard. It's hard when the people who were supposed to cheer your marriage on are the ones who whispered it apart behind your back. And the woman who once held your hand and said she couldn't imagine life without you walked away like it was easy. The divorce moved quickly, faster than I expected. Papers were drafted, assets divided, signatures signed, like we were closing out some business deal instead of ending 5 years of marriage. She got the car. I kept the house, mostly because I fought to keep it. Not because I loved the house, but because it was the one place that had my fingerprints on every room, even if it now felt like a museum of what used to be. A few weeks after everything was finalized, I ran into one of our old mutual friends, Megan, at the grocery store of all places. I hadn't seen her since the split, but we used to double date with her and her husband, back when life was still normal. She gave me that soft, pitiful look people give when they don't know what to say. After some awkward small talk about the weather and how work was going, she looked at me and said, "I just want you to know, a lot of us saw what was happening. We just didn't know how to step in." I didn't say anything. I just waited. She sighed, looked down at the box of cereal in her cart, then said, Alyssa and Jen, especially Alyssa, they were planting those seeds for months. Telling her she was wasting her life being with someone who played it safe. Telling her she could do better, deserve more. That whole Brandon thing? That didn't come out of nowhere. I asked her, so she did cheat? She hesitated. I don't think anything happened while you two were officially together. But emotionally? She was checked out long before she moved out. Everyone saw it. I nodded, even though every word hit like a punch to the gut. Later that night, I sat on the floor of the living room, sorting through a box I hadn't touched in weeks. Photos, concert tickets, notes she used to leave in my lunch bag when we first started dating. All these little memories that felt like someone else's life now. I don't even remember the last time she laughed around me like she used to. The last time she touched my arm just because. The last time I felt like her husband instead of her roommate. She unfollowed me on all social media a week after the divorce was finalized. That part stung more than I want to admit. Like I'd become a loose end she needed to cut off so she could move forward. And from what I've heard, she has moved forward. Brandon's in the picture now, officially. They're not hiding it anymore. I don't know how serious it is, but they've already been seen out together. I saw a photo once, one of those random tags on a friend of a friend's page. She looked happy, or at least she looked like someone pretending to be. It's not like I want her to be miserable. I don't. But there's this bitter ache I can't shake, that she got to be the one who walked away and start fresh, while I've been left to clean up the wreckage and figure out who I even am without her. I tried dating. One date, to be exact. Her name was Elise. Sweet woman, great conversation, easy smile. But halfway through dinner, I realized I wasn't really there. I was comparing everything she said to how my wife used to sound. I was waiting for the punchline, the dig, the eye roll. It never came, because Elise wasn't her. She was kind, attentive, genuine. But I couldn't feel anything. I excused myself, paid for dinner, and told her the truth. I wasn't ready. She smiled like she understood. Maybe she did. So here I am, 34, divorced, alone in a house that echoes too much at night, trying to unlearn the idea that love means being quietly criticized and never defended, trying to believe that being steady isn't the same as being boring, that being kind and dependable isn't a weakness. You know what hurts the most? I never stood a chance. Not with her. Not once her friends convinced her that love was only real if it was chaotic, dramatic, or picture-perfect for Instagram. They took one look at our quiet, ordinary life and decided it wasn't enough. And she believed them. Maybe she always wanted more. Maybe I just made it easier for her to leave by loving her too gently. People keep telling me I'll heal. That someday I'll meet someone who sees me, not as a placeholder or stepping stone, but as a partner. A man worth loving. I want to believe them. But tonight, I'm just sitting on the floor, holding an old photo of us at the lake, and wondering how you ever really let go of someone who let go of you long before they said it out loud. The first time I saw her again in person after the divorce was at the hardware store. Of all places. I was looking for some paint samples, trying to redo the spare room, something I'd put off for months. I heard someone say my name behind me, soft but sure. I turned around, and there she was. Olivia. She looked the same, but different. The same eyes, same way she tucked her hair behind her ear when she was nervous. But there was this new air about her. Confident, maybe, or just detached. Like she had officially filed me away under past. I managed a polite, hey. She gave a small smile. Didn't expect to see you here. I wanted to say something clever or at least put together, but all that came out was, yeah, painting the house. Real smooth. She nodded, then pointed toward the aisle behind her. I was just grabbing some stuff for Brandon's new apartment. He's finally moving in somewhere bigger. Of course. Of course she was here for him. I just nodded, then turned back toward the paint samples, pretending to care about the difference between alabaster and antique white. She didn't leave right away. Instead, she stepped a little closer and said, I hope you're doing okay. That one landed. Because the way she said it, I couldn't tell if she actually meant it, or if she just felt obligated. I turned to her and said, as plainly as I could, I'm surviving. She looked down at her hands. That's good. We stood there for a few seconds too long. It was like neither of us knew how to wrap it up. We used to share everything. Now we could barely share a sentence. Before she walked off, she added, I know things got messy, but I hope one day we can both look back and not regret it. That part stuck with me long after she left. Because regret? That's all I'd been feeling. But maybe she didn't. Maybe she really thought she made the right call. After that, I spiraled for a bit. I'd been doing better, seeing friends again, cooking actual meals, even getting to the gym every so often. but seeing her knocked the air out of my lungs. I didn't cry. I haven't cried in months. I just got really quiet. The next day, I was grabbing coffee and ran into Megan again, the same one from the grocery store. She waved me over and we sat for a bit. "You look like someone who saw a ghost," she said. I told her what happened. She listened the way people do when they know they can't fix anything, but they want you to know they're still there. Then she leaned in and said something that stuck. "You know, Josh, people like Alyssa and Jen, they don't want to see others happy and quiet, content lives, because it reminds them of everything they can't hold on to themselves. Your marriage didn't fail because you weren't enough. It fell apart because she started believing that loud love is more real than loyal love." I didn't say anything, just sat there, letting that sink in. Because yeah, I was never flashy. I never swept her off her feet every day or made wild promises. But I was there. I showed up, and I never once made her question if I loved her. Later that night, I pulled out my phone and did something small but symbolic. I deleted every photo of us still saved in my gallery, not out of anger, not because I hated her, but because I didn't want to keep looking back at something that clearly wasn't looking back at me. The next weekend, I painted that spare room a pale blue and moved my desk in there. I started writing again, something I hadn't done since college. Nothing special, just thoughts, bits of memory, some good, some bad, but all mine. A few weeks after that, I met someone new. Her name's Claire. We met at the community garden near my house. She asked for help lifting a bag of soil and then joked that I had good husband arms. We've gone out 3 times now. It's too early to say what this is or if it'll become anything, but she listens. She laughs at my dumb jokes. And more than anything, I don't feel like I have to perform around her. It feels easy. And for the first time in a long time, easy doesn't feel like an insult. It feels like peace. I didn't expect things with Claire to go anywhere serious. Honestly, after what I'd been through, I was cautious to the point of being emotionally locked down. I told her that up front too, right after our 4th date, while we were sitting on a park bench watching some dog chase its tail for a solid 5 minutes. "I don't know if I'm relationship material right now," I told her. Claire didn't flinch. She just nodded and said, "Then let's just be 2 people who enjoy each other's company for a while." That sentence? It was like a breath of fresh air. No pressure. No expectations. Just space to be human. She never once asked about Olivia, though I'm sure she had questions. Everyone does when they hear, recently divorced. But she let me bring it up when I was ready. And when I finally did, when I told her how my ex's friends used to whisper that she could do better than me, and how eventually Olivia started whispering it to herself, Claire just looked at me and said, "That wasn't about you. That was about them needing someone to blame for their own emptiness." I'm not exaggerating when I say I almost teared up, because in all the therapy, the venting, the conversations I'd had since the divorce, no one had put it that clearly. By fall, we were spending most weekends together. Claire had this easygoing energy that made the hours feel lighter. We'd go to bookstores, small-town markets, or just sit in silence while she worked on her illustrations and I scribbled nonsense into a journal. It wasn't flashy. It wasn't movie-worthy, but it was real. One Sunday, while we were sitting on my porch drinking coffee, she turned to me and said, "You smile more now than when I first met you." I hadn't even noticed, but she was right. Then came the twist I didn't see coming. Alyssa showed up at my door. It was early evening, just after dinner, and I opened the door to see her standing there like she'd just stepped out of the past, perfectly dressed, makeup done, like she couldn't bear the idea of being seen without her image intact. "Hi," she said, like it was normal. "Do you have a minute?" I didn't, but I stepped outside anyway and closed the door behind me. She wasted no time. "I heard you're seeing someone." I just nodded. "She's serious?" I tilted my head, trying to make sense of why she was here. "Why does that matter to you?" Alyssa shifted on her heels. "I just wanted to clear the air. I feel like things got kind of messy." "Messy? That's what we were calling it now?" She gave this half smile. "I know you probably blame me for what happened with Olivia." I stayed quiet, because if I opened my mouth, I wasn't sure what would come out. She went on. "I just wanted what was best for her." "Best for her?" I repeated, slow and careful. "You convinced her that being loved quietly wasn't enough. You called me a placeholder. You encouraged her to run to someone who gave her butterflies for 5 minutes, and now you're here, what, checking if I'm broken." She blinked. "No, I didn't think she'd actually leave you. Not like that." That was the first time I realized something. Alyssa wasn't expecting to be listened to. She just liked having power, influence, control. "You got what you wanted," I said. She left. She moved on. So did I. Alyssa looked off toward the street, then gave a stiff nod. I guess I should go. You should. As she walked back to her car, I didn't feel angry. I didn't feel triumphant. I just felt done. Like whatever part of me still needed closure from all that had finally exhaled. That night, Claire came over, and we made pancakes for dinner. I told her about Alyssa. She listened, stirred syrup into her coffee, and said, "You know, the people who talk the loudest about what others deserve usually don't know how to earn it themselves." She was right. I don't know where Olivia is now. I don't know if Brandon lasted or fizzled out like a bottle rocket. I don't need to know. Because that chapter, loud, chaotic, and painful as it was, is finally closed. And in its place, I'm building something quieter, something softer, but stronger. A year ago, I thought my life was settled. I had a wife, a home, routines, plans. It wasn't exciting, but it felt solid, safe. I thought that was enough. Turns out, it wasn't enough for her. Now, a year later, my life looks nothing like it did, but somehow, I feel more like myself than I have in a long time. Claire and I didn't rush into anything. We took our time. We spent months just being around each other, learning how to exist together without expectations. And when I finally let myself fall for her, it wasn't with fireworks or some dramatic confession. It was while she was in the kitchen wearing one of my old flannels, humming along to an old record, dancing barefoot while flipping pancakes. That was the moment I knew I was finally home again. But this time, it wasn't tied to a house or a title. It was tied to peace, to being seen, to being enough without having to prove it. A few weeks ago, I got a message from Olivia. Just a single text. "Hope you're doing okay. Just wanted you to know I think about you sometimes. I'm sorry for everything." I stared at it for a long time. I didn't reply. Not because I hate her. I don't. I've let go of the anger. But I also didn't need to reopen a wound just because she was feeling nostalgic. Some scars are meant to stay closed. I used to replay every conversation, every mistake, wondering if I could have done something different. But looking back now, I see the truth. I showed up every day. I was steady. I was loyal. I loved her the best way I knew how. And in the end, that wasn't something to be ashamed of. It was something to be proud of. People like Alyssa and Jen, they were just background noise. Loud enough to cause damage, sure. But they weren't the foundation. Olivia made her choices. She chose to listen to voices that told her love should look like a movie instead of a partnership. She chased the thrill and forgot the value of consistency. And yeah, it hurt. It broke something in me. But it didn't end me. I still work my regular job. Still drive the same beat-up car. I still make coffee every morning. Only now I make 2 cups again. Claire jokes that I make dad-level pancakes and that my taste in music is criminally safe. But she also holds my hand when I'm quiet and hugs me when she knows I'm thinking too much. She listens when I speak. She stays when I need space. She tells me I'm enough, and for the first time in a long time, I believe her. Last weekend, we went hiking up this little trail just outside the city. At the top, there's this overlook, trees for miles, golden light hitting everything just right. She turned to me and said, "You know what I think people forget? Real love feels calm. It doesn't scream for attention. It just is." And right there, I knew. I didn't need to be louder or richer or more ambitious to deserve love. I just needed someone who saw the value in quiet love, in honest effort, in simply showing up every day with your whole heart, even when it's not glamorous. So, yeah, maybe her friends told her she deserved better. But truth is, so did I. And this time, I found it. Not in someone perfect, just in someone real. Someone who stayed. Someone who never needed convincing. And that made all the difference.